Hello and welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. We're here today for another massive transfer piece of news. David Ornstein has dropped a huge announcement, tied with Jacob Tanswell. We're going to get into this one, and it involves Leon Bailey. People, if you haven't already, make sure you smash the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and get in the comments section. It's been a busy day for Aston Villa transfer news. Well, we've had such a hiatus, quiet window. You wait for one bus, then three come along. This is massive. David Ornstein has reported the following about Leon Bailey. And I'm going to share this with you right now, people. So lock in for this. He has said the following: AS Roma in talks with Aston Villa over Leon Bailey. No formal bid for 28-year-old Aston Villa winger yet, but AS Roma pursuit firm and emerging as strongest suitor. Also interest from clubs in Saudi Pro League and Turkey, including Besiktas. Wow, wow, wow. A new club emerges in the race for Leon Bailey, and that is AS Roma. Quite interestingly, a team that Aston Villa just recently played in a pre-season friendly at the Walsall ground, and Villa absolutely thumped AS Roma. A very good performance. And Leon Bailey in that game really didn't shine. So quite interesting to see what Roma saw on that, and maybe if there were any talks or discussions behind the scenes after that game. Interesting to know. But we're going to look into this story a little bit further because there is some more information on it. Now, we know at the start of the transfer window, Leon Bailey was linked to one of the new Saudi Pro League teams, SC Neom, and actually it seems that he's very opposed to going there. The name Besiktas has been floating around, and the Turkish league are onto some big signings this summer, and Leon Bailey would be another big household name to join their league. But this AS Roma one now seems to take a little bit more fruition. Have a look at this article then from The Athletic, which I'm going to show you right now. He says, getting the wrong link up. Here we go. This is the one that I want. AS Roma have said this. They are in talks with Leon Bailey and they want to understand his situation. This is the, as I said, the Athletic article by David Ornstein and Jacob Tanswell. Roma in discussions with Villa over a potential deal to sign the winger. The 28-year-old signed a new contract in February 2024, which runs until 2027. He is one of multiple players available to lead the Midlands club, including Alex Moreno and Leandro Dendoncker. So a bit of a transfer update in that situation as well. That Villa are still looking for suitors for Moreno and Dendoncker. We know that Moreno's had a little bit of interest with the likes of Real Betis and Leeds United, but nothing to fruition. Whereas Leandro Dendoncker, it's absolutely barren. Literally no takers. I don't even think we'd be able to get rid of this guy for a quid. It looks like we're going to have to terminate his contract, and that will be that. But back to Leon Bailey and the situation. Clubs in Turkey, including Besiktas and the Saudi Pro League, are also keen on Bailey, but Roma are emerging as the strongest suitor. A bid has yet to be tabled, but talks continue between Villa and the Italian counterpart. If a move materialised, Bailey would become Roma's seventh summer signing and their second from the Premier League, as they also signed Evan Ferguson on loan. And Besiktas have signed six. And look, as you said, it's talking about Bailey's form here. Bailey was used increasingly sparingly last season by head coach Unai Emery, appearing in 24 top flight games and only starting 14. A real knockdown. So there we go. Look, what else are we knowing of this story? We know one other situation which I'm going to refer to and show you right now. And that is, of course, that the rumours are that this may not be a transfer situation. And this is what is being reported by Jacob Tanswell on this situation, who wrote this story and broke the story with David Ornstein. He says the following: talks are centering on a loan with an obligation to buy for Leon Bailey. Okay, so it seems here that Villa are going to move smart. And Villa are going to move smart here. They're going to look like to get rid of Jacob Ramsey in this window for 40 million to Newcastle United. And that will be 100% PSR. With Bailey, it seems that actually loaning him out, hopefully getting that wage bill completely down and Roma paying a lot of the wages, which is the key point here. But then the sale of Leon Bailey with an obligation to buy will help PSR for the following season. And I think that is something that is massive. We talk about PSR, we talk about SCR. Well, Leon Bailey and Jacob Ramsey here are going to be massive in terms of that for Aston Villa's books. So, Bailey, I don't think there are going to be many people sat here wishing that we are keeping Leon Bailey. You hear one or two people go, "Oh, he's good every other season." Oh, Leon Bailey, this could be the year. Look, as much as we could be hopeful that he reproduces that season, which qualified for us for the Champions League, Bailey last season and already in his preseason looks a shadow of his former self. He looks a player that is inept of decision making. He looks a player shy of confidence. And I'll be honest, a player who doesn't look like he is going to ever find the back of the net anytime soon. And that is something that is probably worrying. That is something why Unai Emery is sat here going, do you know what? I can cash in on this guy. But the more exciting development from all of this is that if Aston Villa do and manage to get rid of Leon Bailey and Jacob Ramsey, it's going to fill up another chance to get some key positions, another attacking player, and of course, another defender. There've already been talks about Marco Asensio. There've already been talks about him emerging and return to the club. And Villa may have some scouting networks elsewhere. Another surprise one like Evan Guessant. Ultimately, I think Villa are playing a blinder here now, getting rid of two pieces of what I would call out of stock players, players that are past the sell by date, players that Aston Villa simply don't need or do not have time to wait for. Ramsey and Bailey have had time, have had opportunities, and haven't taken them by the scruff of the neck. We will always thank and remember Leon Bailey for his time in that Champions League qualifying campaign, in which he really did step up. But aside from that, the man in which was bought in off the Jack Grealish money simply hasn't quite delivered for me enough consistently over his stretch at the club. So people, Leon Bailey on loan, obligation to buy, Ornstein and Tanswell dropping this one. I think it's about time we look at Villa and go, do you know what? Patience was key. And maybe, just maybe, I jumped the gun too early of this because this is the type of business I want to be seeing. This is the type of business. And as long as Villa have those astute replacements ready, and as long as Villa have those ready to come in, with that, what we cannot do is get rid of Jacob Ramsey and get rid of Leon Bailey and not have anyone else to come in. There has to be those backups ready. There has to be that game plan. But I like it. The only, downside you could say is, just before the start of the season, where are we going with this? But it also makes me believe now that we will not see Leon Bailey or Jacob Ramsey in that starting 11 against Newcastle United. And basically, their time is done. And I must say, those boys, maybe pre-season, determine that decision for Villa to let them both go, because I thought they were two of the weaker performers in pre-season. People, as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you're dropping a like. Leon Bailey to AS Roma on loan, obligation to buy. We love it. I'm out of here, people. Ta-da.